Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our September 5th, 2024 meeting of the Ascension Parish Council. Mr. Arsenault, actually, please lead us in invocation and pledge of allegiance. Thank you, Mr. Arsenault. Item number 2, roll call. Madam Secretary, Mr. Robert, Mr. Cullen, and Mr. Mason are absent. All of the members are present. Item number 3, Chair's addition. The Chair has no additions tonight. Item number 4, public comment silent period. For anyone who would like to speak on any agenda item, please fill out a card. They're up here on the podium, and hand them to me, and whenever we get to that agenda item, you have 3 minutes to speak. And item number 5, Parish President's Report. Mr. Quintmall, how are you?
Good. Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Council. Let me first acknowledge that next Wednesday marks the 23rd year since September 11th terrorist attacks. On that day, I hope that we all remember those who lost their lives on that fateful day in our nation's history. Since our last council meeting, we hosted over 600 seniors at the game day themed sock hop this past Friday. Our recreation department does an amazing job with this event, and we want to thank them and thank our citizens for showing up. The Donaldsonville Library renovations are complete and will be rededicated this Saturday at 10 a.m. I do want to take this opportunity to speak on behalf of 2 of the interim directors whose ratifications are up for a decision tonight. Jason Lashardy has 28 years of water treatment experience. He has held numerous positions in 3 parishes, Ascension, St. Bernard, and St. John, and has the highest water collection, treatment, production, and distribution certifications. I'm confident in his abilities to direct, manage, and lead our utilities department. Of course, most of you know Ms. Megan Babin has 28 years of human resources experience in the public and private sectors. She recently earned the coveted Senior Certified Professional Credentials from the Society for Human Resources Management. That's a mouthful. She is a strategic partner to every department in Ascension Parish. We are fortunate to have nearly 50 years of experience between the 2 of them working to better the lives of our residents and the workplace for our workforce. That concludes my report, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. And I actually could have did this on the Chair's edition, but I'm going to piggyback on the Parish President's Report. I know we have the board from our Prevost Hospital here, and they would like to introduce their new director. So I ask y'all, please come up to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're not going to take much time. I realize the importance of getting back across the bridge. But I wanted to take a minute, since Sheldon has come, he hasn't presented here yet. You guys hadn't met him. I wanted to take a moment and read just the highlight of his qualifications. He was raised in Franklinton, grew up on a farm there, was an outstanding student in high school, finished at the top of his class. He served as the class president, was an active member of student government and many associations. He went to Southern University, earning a degree in science, a Bachelor of Science degree in political science, and he furthered his studies at Grand Canyon University, where he completed a master's in healthcare administration and a master's in business administration with a concentration in economics. With 16 years of dedicated experience in healthcare, Sheldon has worked tirelessly to improve communities across Louisiana. His commitment to service has guided him in his role at Prevost Memorial Hospital, where he has been making a positive impact over the past 6 months. So I want to welcome Sheldon, and glad that he's here. He's going to present the report. I'd like to introduce Tanya Mitchell. She's on our board, and Glenn Price, he's the vice chairman. So Yeah. Well, do you want to do the report now, or you want to, it's on the agenda, 2 items later?
Yeah, whenever we get to the agenda item, please. Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Thank y'all. Okay, moving along to general business. 6A, resolution, ratification of presidential appointments, Human Resources Director and Utilities Director, Megan Babin, HR, Jason Accardi for Utilities Director, and we will do these one at a time. So at this time, Chair will entertain a motion for the approval of Ms. Megan Babin.
Motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Vornado, a second by Ms. PT. Any objection to Ms. Babin? Hearing none, so moved. At this time, Chair will entertain a motion for Mr. Liccardi. Oh, there you go.
Motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Hillsbeck, a second by Mr. Joseph. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. I was gonna clap now. Yeah, I'm asking Mr. Liccardi and Ms. Babin, group picture. Come on, Mr. Jason. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much, and congratulations. Good luck in your new roles. Look forward to it. All right, everyone. Item 6B, approval of the cooperative endeavor agreement between Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality and the Parish of Ascension to transport dirt and other fill for the permanent closure of La Alumina.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Joseph, a second by Mr. PT. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. 6C, the approval of amendment number 3 for the professional service contract with Quality Engineering and Surveying LLC for the professional design services for Butchcore Park renovations to extend the agreement term through July 31st, 2024. The amendment does not affect the contract in amount to exceed of $141,822. I have a motion by Ms. Alonso, a second by Mr. Vornado. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. And 6D, the approval of the Prevost Hospital annual budget. Mr. Anthony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and the Council. Thank y'all for having us this afternoon. I'd like to provide an overview of our financial projection for the upcoming fiscal year. So our total budgeted revenue is at $10.4 million, which will be ending August 31st, 2025. The key revenue sources are, again, with patient revenue of $7.7 million. Medicaid disproportionate share is at $2.3 million. And other revenues, which include interest and income, rental income, and miscellaneous sources. Our total adjustments, which include bad debt, sits around $3.6 million, with contractual adjustments at $2.8 million, bad debt at $376,000, and free care write-offs is at $103,000. Our net revenue after adjustments is at $6.7 million. And we have our sales tax, which is at $1.71 million that I'm expecting. Our total expenses for the year will be at $6.5 million. Salary and wages is at $3.3 million, which is our largest expense. Contracted services, which include nursing and radiology and wound care and security, totaling at $1.1 million, and our professional services is at $1.4 million, with our utilities having a modest increase at $213,000, and my supplies being relatively flat at $609,000. So I am projecting our profit will be at $241,000 by the end of fiscal year 2025, and that's the impact on our sales tax. So the basic highlights that everyone wants to know. The largest contributor of our hospital income is patient revenue. And our volumes we have seen over the last 6 months have started to increase. I am proud to announce and present to the board that we had 490 patients that were seen in our ER for the month of August, which is a significant increase from last year of only 410 patients. Our Medicaid disproportionate share is showing a significant height for this year. Our sales tax is continuing to be a significant stronger financial position for us, putting our bottom line that our expenses are a little higher. And the reason why they are higher because I am bringing in qualified physicians, qualified nurses on this side of the Mississippi River. So the budget is balanced with a modest profit, demonstrating fiscal responsibility, the direction that our board of directors have given me, and as well as my leadership team. And as we look towards the future, we are exploring all potential avenues for partnerships and evaluating the benefits. Our goal is to ensure that Prevost Memorial Hospital remains a fully functioning healthcare system in Donaldsonville. That is why the board is committed to entrusting and building a new healthcare facility, a facility that has imaging services. We have mammograms and MRI and CT and ultrasound here in Donaldsonville for our community. That's what we're fighting for every day. So, Mr. Chairman and the council, thank y'all for your time, and I entertain any questions you may have for me at this moment.
Yeah, Ms. PT.
Medicaid disproportionate share.
Yes, sir.
For those of us who don't know what that is, including me, could you kind of give me a rundown of what that means?
So yes, sir. So our Medicaid disproportionate share, we are a rural critical access hospital. So the state provides these organizations like ourselves with funding because they know that we don't have the volumes of a Baton Rouge General or a Lake or a Ochsner. So rural hospitals like us receive functions for our patients. So higher Medicaid for the patients that we have on this side to keep our patients in Donaldsonville.
Okay, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. One other thing without getting in trouble with the board, you talk about partnerships or anything like that. Have y'all, is an occupational medicine partnership on the horizon possibly? Has it been a thought yet or anything?
So that, yes, sir. So that is part of my strategic vision
Okay.
and my strategic plan. I am planning to bring before the board what 6 months will look like here at Prevost, what a year will look like at Prevost. That's a wish that Mr. Dawson and Mr. Price has for us. What's going to look like? So we're looking at all avenues. I'm looking at other, healthcare agencies, other schools in the community, the community colleges, and see what we can do to ensure that we have jobs here and that we're keeping healthcare affordable for all of our patients.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Any other questions? At this time, Chair will entertain a motion to accept the budget.
Motion to accept.
Got a motion by Mr. Joseph, a second by Mr. Arsenault. Any objection? Hearing none? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we got Personnel Committee recommendations. Mr. Cullen is out sick, so I will fill in for him tonight on a brief summary. The Personnel Committee met on August 27, 2024, and interviews were conducted, and the following recommendations were made. A 5-year term on the Library Board is Ms. Ashley Gagnard. She's a new appointment replacing Charles Lehman, Jr.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Joseph. Second by Mr. Petey. Any objection? Hearing none. So moved. On the West Ascension Drainage Board, a new 4-year term is Mr. Michael Kayet.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Joseph. A second by Mr. Petey. Any objection? Hearing none. So moved. And Fire Protection District number 1, a reappointment for a 2-year term, or on Mr. James LeBlanc. Motion by Ms. Petey, a second by Mr. Arsenault. Is he here? Any objection? Hearing none. So moved. Thank you, everyone, for volunteering. I do appreciate that. All right, so now we are moving on to planning and zoning recommendations. The first one, 8A, Zoning Review ID PZ-3444.24-A1B, lots 11E and 11F, Bayou North East Estate, second filing the remaining portion track A1 of the Elwin L. Dunham property, located on the south side of Bayou North East Road, approximately 200 feet east of Deerview Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from rural to mixed use. And it was a typo on the agenda, but this is to accept or deny the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee, which was to deny. So so we need either a motion to uphold Planning and Zoning's decision or a motion to overturn Planning and Zoning. Does anyone have any questions about this? Okay. Chair entertain a motion. So I have a motion from Mr. Hillensbeck to uphold the denial. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second from Ms. PT. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. We have a public speaker. I do apologize.
No, we don't.
Oh, that's,
That's just a note for that.
oh, that's a no. Yeah.
That's a note to make sure you,
All right. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
typo.
All right, got you.
apologies.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on. Nobody filled it out. I'm sorry. So we have a motion and a second to uphold Planning and Zoning's denial. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so moved. All right, 8B, Zoning Review ID, PZ-3460.24, Lot E1 of the 110 by 320 foot lot and 106.6 foot by 320 foot lot, redesigned as Lot L and Lot E into Lot L1 and E1 for Shelley Sanchez, located on the north side of LA Highway 74, approximately 200 feet west of Cary Lane, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use to accept or deny the Planning and Zoning's recommendation to approve. I have a motion by Mr. Hillensbeck to uphold the approval. Do we have a second? A second by Mr. Vornado. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. And 8C, approval to introduce an ordinance to amend Appendix 2 of the Unified Land Developmental Code 07-2038 to add solar farm conditional use, to accept or deny the recommendation of the Planning Commission to approve. A motion by Mr. PT and a second by Mr. Joseph. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. All right, moving along to the introduction of ordinances. 9A, introduction of ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Building and Building Regulations, to clarify and update language in the building code. Chair needs a motion to introduce.
Motion.
Motion introduced by Mr. Joseph. 9B, introduction of ordinance to amend and restate an ordinance adopted on August 1st, 2024, ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, to authorize certain amendments to the Home Rule Charter, to postpone Proposition Number 2 and delete the language, governing authority members shall receive an annual salary not to exceed the maximum amount allowed for police jurors by state law, to a March 29th, 2025 election. Motion introduced by Mr. Vornado. And I do have to read the notice of the introduction of ordinance because it is a ballot initiative. Notice is hereby given that the following entitled ordinance was introduced in the writing and the form required for adoption at a meeting of the Parish Council of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, on September 5th, 2024, and laid over for publication of notice. An ordinance amending and restating the ordinance adopted on August 1st, 2024, ordering and calling a special election to be held in the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, to authorize certain amendments to the Home Rule Charter of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith, to designate the election date of Saturday, March 29th, 2025, for certain amendments. Notice is hereby further given that the Parish Council of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, will meet on Thursday, September 19, 2024, at 6 p.m. at the Ascension Parish Courthouse, Gonzales Meeting, 607 East Worthy Street, Gonzales, Louisiana, at which time there will be a public hearing on the adoption of aforesaid ordinance. All right. And now, the public hearing ordinances. Agenda item 10A, reading of an ordinance to declare surplus and authorize the sale and/or transfer of miscellaneous movable equipment. Mr. Dupatti.
Purpose to declare surplus and authorize the sale and/or transfer of miscellaneous movable property, whereas the parish of Ascension has certain assets that are surplus and no longer viable to retain, and whereas these assets no longer serve or have any public purpose, and whereas the parish of Ascension desires to declare said assets as surplus and provide for the sale and/or transfer of same, whereas be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council acting in its capacity as the governing authority, that it hereby declares the listing of assets attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A as surplus and authorizes the sale and/or transfer of same, severability in the event that any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. Effective date, this ordinance shall be in full effect if permitted by law. This ordinance has been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon was as follows.
Motion to open public hearing by Ms. Petey. I need a second. A second by Mr. Vornado. Motion to close by Ms. Alonso. A second by Mr. Vornado. Chair entertain motion to move the ordinance. Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Hillensbeck. A second by Ms. Alonso. Any objection? Hearing none. So moved. Motion to adjourn by Ms. Petey and a second by Mr. Vornado. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.